the opening match will be #1 seed from qualifying Bill O'Neill against Bailey Maverick, and Bill is standing by with Kimberly Pressler.
So, Bill, you were the #1 qualifier over on the Maybe, but now we are in Strobel Arena, where you won your first title in 2009. So you know what it takes to win here. But how different is it for you from over there to here?
Yeah, it's a completely different ball and center. So whatever I did over there, I've totally forgotten. It doesn't mean much over here. And completely different game plan, different balls, and but the same execution. You got to go out and go through my routine and my process and do everything the same.
Good luck to you today.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was a Chameleon Championship in a year, that same season, 2009-10 season, who won the U.S. Open. Bailey Maverick. Not to say there's an age difference here, Randy, but in 2017, Bailey was bowling in the Indiana High School Boys State Championship. Bill was winning the Elias Cup with the Dallas team in 2017. Calm the nerves a little bit for Maverick.
You can see that oil pattern displayed on the lane, that hourglass shape. We'll get more to that here in a moment.
This is a USBC pattern designed by Nick Hoagland. Bit through the nose for Bill, a makeable spare.
Just the 3-6. And speaking with all the players, and you mentioned Nick Hoagland, who is the lane pattern development specialist. There is a great emphasis on execution and shot making on this pattern. A fairly lower scoring pattern than what we typically see week in and week out on the regular PBA tour.
And particularly after what was going on in Reno with so many high scores and so many 300 games.
Yeah, and honestly, I like this. This is a major, and majors should be hard. They should be hard to win, and it should come down to execution, shot making, spare making, as we take a look at Bill's arsenal going with Black Widow 3.0. It's got surface on that ball. The right lane we need to watch for. It looks to be just a little bit tighter down lane for the players.
Yeah. See the gorgeous 9 just get ejected by the ball there at the last second.
9-pin just got mugged. And that beautiful roll release of the soon-to-be Hall of Famer Bill O'Neill. Watch the ball just catch a piece of the 9-pin.
15 PBA Tour titles, 3 majors, but the USBC Masters, not one of them. As for Bailey, he's looking for his first national title.
Going with Hypnotize.
Hit me, hit me.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. Good shot. He liked it immediately off his hand. You can tell by the way he stepped to the right after letting go of that shot. Just over third arrow, out to about 6.
Saw Bailey earlier this year on TV at the Roth-Holman doubles. He covers that expertly. He and Patrick Dombrowski. If any of the pros on today's show bowl a perfect game, everyone in America can receive a free game of bowling courtesy of Go Bowling. To pre-register, visit GoBowling.com and sign up for the Go Bowling Free America promotion.
That sounds like millions of free games.
I love the idea. I wonder if it'd be great if millions of people did it. First off, we got to get the 300 though. And if my memory serves, I think we only had one 300 in this event.
What's the re-rack?
And Bailey looking for a re-rack here.
Okay.
Oh, they are investigating whether or not he may have crossed the foul line.
And that looks like a foul.
Yep, sure does. There is a line judge there.
Fouled on that spare shot.
Okay.
It's a foul.
Okay.
It is a foul.
So take away the spare.
Good.
Damon Chiraco of the USBC making that determination.
So you see the change in the score. And now what does this do to Bailey's mentality? He accepted it calmly, but that was the external reaction. Well, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Strike from Maverick. In the previous frame, foul was recorded.
Unfazed. That was quite the delivery after being notified he just fouled.
Yeah, you think about it. You're trying to win your first national title. It's a major. You're bowling a guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame in a few days, really. And that happens to you. And O'Neill gets a ringer.
Another 10-pin on the right lane. Back-to-back beauties for Bill O'Neill, though, here. Game 1 of the USBC Masters.
And make it 38 for 38 for Bill. And we take a look at today's oil pattern presented by Kegel, powered by Kegel.
So same pattern that we used on the other side of the building being used here in the arena, but you can see that hourglass shape that Nick Hoagland developed for this event. You can see the players are going to play a little bit farther outside to start. Out of our 8 players, half are southpaws. The trick, get it through the front part of the lane and then get it to pick up or read mid lane. Lay off, doesn't.
Well, he had a 3-6 earlier. Now attack a 10 onto that. One of the least favorite spares of any professional bowler to have to shoot at.
Pretty big miss for Bill O'Neill there. And 3-6-10, just catch a piece of that 3-pin and the ball take out the 6 and the 10. Pretty much like to cover all 3 pins with the bowling ball.
And a major error there by Bill. And an opening for Bailey Maverick here in the midpoint of the match. Now I think he's going to get a re-rack. And Bill knew within a split second that was an errant delivery.
Yeah, as soon as you let go of it.
And Bailey Maverick went through that grinder of the tour trial. Such an incredibly demanding event last year. 4 different centers, 4 different patterns. And to come out of there with the exemption, and we had Ryan Barnes do it, Tim Foy Jr. do it, among others, and Bailey here, able to do it.
You know, when Bailey's not bowling on tour, you know who his boss is back home?
I do know who his boss is. We'll tell you in a moment. Survey says
EJ Tackett. He actually works for EJ, Ronnie Russell, managing a few pro shops. He actually visits the shops, multiple shops, and takes care of whatever they need. I got another interesting nugget about Bailey that I'm just going to leave dangling that I'll tell you when we come back from commercial. It's quite fascinating.
wow. That is how you cover a 3-6-10.
Perfectly. Let's just say it has a little bit to do with practice.
Practice?
Yeah, you know that word.
I do.
So you know where we get all of our great stats week in and week out, right?
I love these guys.
From our dear friends at Lane Talk. You want to be a better bowler, want to throw more strikes, you want to increase your scores? Here are the Lane Talk guys. Hey, Robert.
Robert and Thomas.
Yeah,
Robert
and
Risberg,
Thomas.
the CEO, and Thomas Ellingsbo, the CMO of Lane Talk. Of course, our friend Magnus involved with
Magnus
all
is here, yeah.
that. Yeah, love those guys. They're so important to us. Oh, man, Bailey Maverick with a powerhouse uppercut.
And again, for more information, head on over to lanetalk.com and download the free app. Now O'Neill coming off the open in the 4th, looking to rebound. Just down by 3. Won the Roth-Holman doubles earlier this season with that guy.
Their second, the combination we know as Bilmo. Here you go. Yep. And the beauty of Bill's experience and, of course, his talent level is he's not going to panic in a situation after making a bad shot. So both players have dealt with some early adversity as we approach the halfway point. Maverick with a foul on a spare, and then Bill chopping the 3 off the 3-6-10. Both came back with strikes.
Be right. Be right.
Be right, and it was right for Bill O'Neill. So this match very much undecided. Grandpa's going to play the winner of this one, but who's it going to be? And Randy has a Ryan Seacrest worthy break for us. I can't wait to see what's coming up next on FS1. And we take a look at Bailey Maverick entangled in a tight match with Bill O'Neill in the first of our matches today here on FS1. USBC Masters, we have 6 bowlers, only 2 of them are going to make tomorrow's show, along with Gary Haynes and Anthony Simons.
Yeah. Nice shot out of commercial. And now the lead back to Bailey Maverick. Let's go down to the floor and talk with tour rep for Bailey, Dino Castillo, PBA champ. Hey, Dino, what did you guys discuss during the break?
Well, during the break, he was battling the approaches a little bit. So we just made sure that we cleaned his feet off and make some good shots. So really working on this right lane because it's having a hard time carrying.
All right, Dino, thanks. And, you know, clean feet, very important. Oh, Bailey. That's why.
Oh, my gosh.
He just got 2. Take a look at where this was, if I can actually draw on the screen properly.
Have you ever drawn a 2 before?
No. Maybe in 25 years I probably have, but it goes right in between the 310 and 2 back, and he was working on a double, so he loses all that count.
Well, I guess we found out where the out of bounds is.
What a cover. Wow.
There's only one thing you can say after that shot.
That's the first time I've ever done that.
This is a clean wipe presented by Dude Wipes.
Well, you heard him say it's the first time he's ever done it, and the nugget on Bailey was how much practice he used to do as a youngster. Get this, the most games he ever bowled in one day, 119 games.
How old was he?
He was 14.
Wow.
Easy.
Damn.
Man, he is a fortunate son right there.
That's pretty good.
Couple of 10 pins now for O'Neill on that right lane. Almost pocket 7-10. That would have been disastrous. 4-pin lead for him if he converts the 10.
No trouble there for Bill, who has missed a spare in this match. This has been a strange one. We've had some bizarre occurrences. A foul, a 2, a 3-6-10 missed.
Let's take a look at our 3D graphic here showing how the 2 players are playing this oil pattern. Bailey a good 6 and 4 left of O'Neill and about a 1 mile an hour slower using the same break point.
And still, you get the feeling, Randy, this match is coming down to the 10th.
Come on.
Sure shaping up that way, isn't it? As it should be in major championship competition.
And the one thing that's been impressive with both Bailey and Bill is that whenever they've been given a tray full of adversity, they've come back with a great shot the next frame. You may have seen Bailey on the air earlier. That's when Ogle and Rash picked up the first 2 matches before they were defeated. again, with the impressive ability to kick the adversity away, comes up again.
All right, Red.
We've seen it time after time, show after show with the youngsters, the new players coming out and just really making themselves known, doing things that rookies and first-timers shouldn't be doing. They come out like they've got all the experience in the world. And there's so much talk about, well, there's YouTube now and all of the stats and the numbers and everything that's available, all of the tournaments that they're able to bowl. They just come out on tour and they're tour ready.
Pick up.
It does pick up. This is only Bailey's second appearance on TV in singles.
Yeah.
And he's bowling like it's his 25th.
Max score, O'Neill can't be shut out. See if he can get by the right lane. Only 1 of 4. Good news is he gets to finish on the left. Needs strike in the 9th, 2 and 7 in the 10th. And that's executing. Just inside second arrow, out to about 6.5.
All right, so on this lane, Randy, strike in the second, his 3-6-10 that didn't work out. Then a strike in the 6th and a strike in the 8th. So he's had just one bad shot.
Yeah. 2 and 7 to advance.
That's half of the 2.
Understanding what it's like to have complete mind-body control is what elite athletes do in all sports. That is how you're able to execute at the highest of levels. Bill O'Neill looking to do it one more time here in the 10th frame.
Come on.
Is it right? It is not right.
Oh my goodness.
And Bailey Maverick's going to have a chance to steal this game in the 10th. He was close to a 7-10 a few frames ago, and the 7 got kicked aside. This time, you watch the head pin. It goes in between the 7 and the 10. And, well, I like the idea of going at it that way, but
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was really good. Needs 2 strikes and 2 pins.
well, we know he knows how to get the 2.
Good call, Dave. Covered a lot of bowling, impressed
Completely.
with young Bailey.
You remember when we had Marshall Holman on the Ralph Holman doubles, and he said, I didn't see a lot of bowlers that particular day he was there, but he saw one shot from Bailey Maverick and said, I like him immediately because of the way he didn't fall off the shot. He posted up, all of that. Can he do it one more time?
Got to have this one. The 2 shouldn't be a problem. Going out on a limb.
You bold son of a gun, you. Here's the tough one, obviously. The winner of this will sit the next game out and take on Graham Fach.
If it wasn't for the foul in the second frame, this match would be over.
Play.
One of the most.
Yeah, that was a great shot. That was great shots.
He made the shot. Bill O'Neill spot on. He made the shot, left the corner pin.
What a bizarre match. We had a little bit of things you don't normally see on television. A foul,
Thank you.
a 2,
Thank you.
7-10.
Feels really good.
Missed
You
snares.
should be proud of yourself.
And again, the foul is the difference in this match,
And
right?
the count on the 2 also.
And that.
He lost a bunch of pins on that count. So Bill will sit out for a little bit and take on Graham Fach. It'll be Nate Stubler versus Dom Barrett in our second match. And we mentioned that we are going to finish this tournament off here in Michigan on Sunday at noon Eastern. And we already know that Gary Haynes and Anthony Simonson are on the show. The USBC Masters coverage for the third major of the year will conclude tomorrow right here from Thunderbolt Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan. Anthony Simonson won the last time we were in this building. He has 3 USBC Masters titles, tied with the great Mike Albee and just one back of Jason Belmonte. Here's what a bad man Albee was, in case y'all forgot.
Yeah, what a career.
And just, you know, one of the things, by the way, we should mention that following this game, another Hall of Famer is going to join us in the booth. Chris Barnes is going to join Randy and I.
Thanks, boys. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
And it looks like we're ready to get this match started with Stubler versus Barrett.
Hey, Nate. Okay, mate. Good. Hold on now. Whoever wins this goes over the run.
That's the game plan, my friend.
Well, whoever wins this is going to bowl Justin Knowles is what's going to happen. So Bill O'Neill goes into an interesting situation here, Randy. Normally when we have these shows, if you win, you keep going. Here, you win, you sit.
Yeah. He's going to watch this match and try to get some intel for his next match.
Don't be slow.
Now, Randy, Dom said something interesting. Most of the time, I hear bowlers say, oh, I went too fast, I got too fast, I got too fast. He just said, don't be slow. Whatever he said, it worked.
One of the prettiest games out here. His ball roll is so beautiful, and he can play all the angles. He admittedly battles with rev rate and trying to keep up with the high-powered two-handers out here on the tour. And I'll tell you what, he's got one of the most complete games in the sport.
Well, he wouldn't be alone in that complaint. A lot of one-handers have struggled with that incredible rev rate, except for Mr. Tackett.
That's it.
And, well, let's see if this is the bowling audience.
Oh.
Yeah, they've all got their hands up here. I am not surprised to see the crowd with the fives.
Say if I miss this, you might have to let me win to pay for the bar bill.
Well, at least you can laugh about it, and it's obviously highly makeable. So, Nate from LaSalle, Illinois, also looking for his first national title.
First look at a southpaw on the telecast. It'd be interesting to see how they broke their side of the lane down with all the practice leading up.
All right, he's off the hook. And again, not to highlight the age difference here, but in 2017, Dom Barrett won the Brunswick Euro Challenge in Munich. Nate was in the Illinois High School State Championship. He was the 2017 Illinois High School State Champion individual.
Going with the 3D offset assault. Are you calling Dom Barrett old?
No, experienced.
No.
15 years as a pro, 10 PBA Tour titles. Nate, third year as a pro. You saw him at the Players Championship last year, finishing fourth in Wichita.
Lost to Ryan Barnes.
Yes, he did. And he was fifth in 2023 for the Harry Golden PBA Rookie of the Year.
Hold on. Oh, it did. He's got that hand way to the inside part of the bowling ball and then just unleashes on it. The foul line comes up and out of it. That heel comes off the ground. Watch that right at the foul line. Dead flush perfect.
And Dom right on top of it with a double.
Second this season at the Pete Weber Missouri Classic. Lost to E.J. Tackett. But like you mentioned at the start of the show, destined for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's won the PBA World Championship, the U.S. Open, and the PBA Tournament of Champions.
Also going with 3D offset assault. Players using very strong equipment.
Yeah, that's a very strong strike. And a three-bagger for Dom to start things off. He would be the first European to win all 4 of these majors. He is the first European to win the Triple Crown. And he would be only the 4th to own a Grand Slam should he emerge victorious. But he's got to get through today first. Oh no. It happens to lefties too. What? I wasn't talking about that.
Another lefty hater.
No. That's the guy who's standing behind us.
That's our guest coming in the next match.
Exactly.
There he is. Yeah, he's lurking behind you, just so you know.
We are pro left-handed at the moment.
Look, I started on tour in 1981. It was alive then. It's never going away.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. One hand, two hand. They all don't like
Those
those.
southpaws.
There you go, Stubler. Clean. Looks understandably puzzled as to why that shot didn't strike.
Nate, an exempt player from last year's point list, 36th in 2024. No PTQs for that man. Thank goodness. PTQs suck.
They're not.
Been there, done that.
They're not beloved. You could say that. No, that is true.
He's got to pull that interchangeable thumb out of his spare ball. Now he's ready to go.
See?
And that one will leave him makeable, but still a difficult 3-9.
Nice break, tripping out the 5 and the 6 late, just leaving the 3-9.
He did miss one this week.
By the way, Hall of Famer Jason Couch, who's watching the telecast, just sent me a text. He wanted me to pass along to you right after this.
Okay. Beautifully done.
The Hall of Famer, 3-time winner of the Tournament of Champions, Jason Couch, said, hey, you guys, be nice to lefties.
Nah, get quick with it.
Does he just mean him or all lefties?
He means all lefties.
All right, we'll try. There are some nice ones. Parker Bone III, the great Bone.
Wait
obviously.
a minute, there are some nice.
Well, he's a nice guy.
He is.
Everyone
He's
loves
got
Parker.
he's got a couple Steve Nagy sportsmanship awards to verify that.
By the way, his son made a nice run
Brandon
in the match play. Brandon made a great run.
Yeah, quite nicely here. Oh, dude. Got a hook.
Well, look at a 2-8.
You can do better than that.
No 10-pin. That's the good news.
Trust the friction.
Perfectly done. There's textbook from both the left and the right of how to deal with those sleepers.
Yeah. Good cover. For both.
Roll it.
Okay. Come on. Half.
And that looks pretty. Ooh, good.
Almost 7-9.
Have to throw it at some point.
I'll be honest, I thought that shot was flush.
It was high flush.
Yeah,
Watch this. It's gonna. The ball goes right by the 9. Got to match play and lost his very first match and ended up in contenders purgatory.
he did defeat Jason Belmonte.
He did, but he also told me coming into today, he says, I feel like I'm still in the loser's bracket.
Round it.
Well, and for those who don't know what we're talking
Overcompensated.
about, this is not a typical tournament
good
by
shot on the
any
thing.
means.
That one was
You
just
have qualifying first, and then the 63 bowlers plus the defending champion who gets an automatic, in this case, D-Ron Booker. And then you get in a match play, and it's best of 3, and it's high score. It's not win 2 games, you move on. It's total score, just like that. So you see what Nate did. He had a great qualifying and then stayed in the winner's bracket until Gary Haynes, who was the #1 overall seed, knocked him down. And this is the guy who knocked out Brandon Bone in a very exciting match.
Wow. In every one of his matches, he shot over 700 for the 3 games, and that's pretty strong, especially on this difficult 44-foot Masters pattern. He's only missed the pocket once. Got that shaker 5 in the first. 8-pin, now 7-pin. Left the 3-9 in the 4th.
And the other thing is when you are driven into the contenders bracket, a second loss and you are out. Registration for the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships is now open to bowlers of all skill levels. The PBA LBC National Championships is returning to the Chicago area and includes a division for everyone. You can compete in singles as well as optional doubles and team events. Even combine your scores with the pros. Enter today at PBA.com.
I'm going to see if Chris Barnes wants to bowl doubles with me. We've actually done pretty well in doubles competition.
Yeah, that would work. That would work.
We won a regional doubles once.
I believe you.
In Florida.
I would like to see that.
At Jason Couch's father's center.
Which is where?
In Orlando.
Okay, cool. Uh-oh, there may be a correction coming on this dramatic story. Hold on, folks. Stubler puts 10 in the pit where they belong. We already know that Anthony Simonson and Gary Haynes are on the show tomorrow. Haynes the #1 seed, Simo the #2.
Come on, let's go. Roll it. Slow.
Now I know what he meant by being slow. He wants to slow roll this thing. And he gets a mixer.
Great lesson to be learned from the youngsters, the players maybe coming up through the high school programs, collegiate level. Watch Dom Barrett, takes 0 time, puts his hand in the ball and goes.
Big fan of that. EJ Tackett's the same way. There's a few guys who still understand the pins aren't going to move. So there we go. He runs into the Ginger Assassin after qualifying 42nd. Anthony Nyer knocks him out. Then he takes out both Jason Belmonte, Kyle Sherman, and others.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh. And he is a fortunate man to have just the 3-pin to shoot at there. That was by far his roughest looking delivery. So just to go back to finish up Dom's road to this show, Gene Perez has been coming on. Saw him make some impact in the World Series of bowling. And then Jorge Rodriguez Rosas, who got into a real rock fight with EJ Tackett and almost knocked Tackett out earlier. And then finally Dan McClellan, you see Dom with a 761 there.
Saw Rasmus, one of the winners at the World Series of bowling.
Okay.
long, hard fight to get to this point for Dom Barrett. Man, once you lose in the first round at this event, it's contender purgatory.
All right, so this lane has been purgatory for Stubler. 9 spare, 9 spare, 9 spare. And probably 9 spare.
At the end of the pattern.
Yeah, you just heard him say that thing is dying out at the end of the pattern.
Yeah, and that's affecting his carry.
So is that an equipment issue?
Yes.
Your advice to him would be another ball?
Well, he's got a lot of surface on the ball he's using, so that's going to cause it to read early. And when the ball reads early, it's not going to have a lot left after it comes off the end of the pattern. So in choosing the right ball, you're trying to create a little left and right of target so that if you do miss, you've got a little bit of mistake. But also, you're trying to get your ball to go through the pins properly so that when you do hit the pocket, you strike. Too much surface, if the ball reads too early, it's going to affect pin carry. Vice versa, if the ball's too clean through the front, it's too violent coming off the end of the pattern, that's going to affect pin carry. He's 0 for 4 on that right lane. Left lane seems to be okay, but again, right now it is a carry issue for Stubler. Just one miss in terms of pocket in the fourth.
And that is just perfection. The back row wiped out.
A lot of times you can take that same ball and tweak it just a bit with your hand at release, too.
Well, my other thought here is getting late to make a change. I mean, we're into the 9th and 10th now. People have done it, of course.
Yep.
But
if the ball's reading too early, a little bit more side rotation will get it clean through, a little cleaner through the front. You want it to start a little bit sooner, a little bit more roll.
just a classic game. Well, round one of the college basketball crown starts Monday on FS1 with Utah versus Butler at 3 Eastern. George Washington and Boise State at 5:30. Nebraska versus Arizona State at 8:30. And Georgetown v. Washington at 11. The college basketball crown, it's Monday on FS1.
And again, watch how little time Dom Barrett takes once he puts his hand in the ball. Second at the Weber Classic a month ago. Watch this now. Let's see where he's putting his feet, puts his hand in, gets set. And that's it.
3 seconds to his first step. Oh! Yeah, I thought that might be just a whisker high.
That shot there held on for a long time, Dave.
You fucking dumb man.
And that was a move left on that left lane.
Look at the max scores. We may be headed for a tie. And there is Gary Haynes, the #1 overall seed, defeated Anthony Simonson yesterday to earn that possibility. One game for $100,000 for Gary tomorrow in his first national title. And we'll be talking to him, Kimberly will be, in a little bit. So, a tie, anyone? No. Oh, no. The lefty version of the impossible dream.
Worst time for that to happen. And now the 7 is with the 3-9.
And it's the same lane again. He hasn't struck on this lane yet.
Getting back to what you had mentioned. Is it too late to change balls? And I mean, I'm not sure there ever is a too late. We've seen players do it in the 10th frame. We've seen players do it halfway through it. These one-game matches are brutal.
Actually, after he shoots this, I'll add on. Gary Haynes did that in an elimination game. Not an elimination game, in a game where he could have been knocked into the contenders bracket after he made a difficult split. Switched balls in the 10th and struck out and won the game and stayed in the winner's bracket. So, yes, it's been done. We've seen Simonson do it. We've seen other people do it.
There you go.
It can be done, and I'm not saying that he's made a mistake. It's just a random thought. So now the max 193, and Dom in a pretty enviable position here. If only he could have carried that karma to the other side, this would be a different match for Nate.
Oh, my Lord.
So coincidence or not, our two most accomplished bowlers and most experienced have moved into their next matches. Dom Barrett will be moving on. He'll take on Justin Knowles. And our next match will be Bill O'Neill, who already won one. And his opponent will be Graham Fach.
Nate never struck on the right lane, and that was his undoing.
And was a beast on the left lane.
Oh, part of the game.
Probably why he chose to finish there.
Well,
definitely the better of the two for him, obviously.
So a strong Masters for Nate Stubler has come to an end.
Just bowl well.
Neal and Fach will be next. So Dom Barrett has moved on. He'll take on Justin Knowles following our upcoming match. Hall of Famer Bill O'Neill takes on Graham Fach. All right, so we've got Bill O'Neill in a wild match with Bailey Maverick, winning by 2. Then Dom Barrett finishing off Nate Stubler. Stubler just could never get the right lane down. Now it's Bill O'Neill versus the 16 seed Graham Fach. That'll be followed by Dom Barrett v. Justin Knowles. Chris Barnes joins us table side, and Graham Fach will be starting. And interestingly, on the left lane, which looked good for Stubler, is there a little jinx on the right lane for lefties?
It would definitely be interesting to watch, as Stubler didn't throw any strikes on the right lane at all.
Yes! And it is a messenger for Graham Fach. You know what this means? Yep. It's time for a clean wipe. Presented by Dude Wipes. Right there.
No fear, all clear. I don't know about Chris, but I never leave home without him.
Been on that plan for a long time.
And Bill O'Neill with a ball change.
That was going to hold.
Yeah, he went to a, looks like a Black Widow Mania. And Chris and I talked about it while we were watching him warm up during the commercial break. And Chris, this looks like a ball that's cleaner and something that gets to the front a little bit easier, and it looks like he's shaping it more.
Yeah, lets him move in. We saw Dom at the very end of that last match move 3-4 boards left at the very end. Didn't quite get all the way to the push. This is where Bill started in the main bay. I think now he's where he's really comfortable. Another one off that one. Should be in pretty good shape.
That Bailey Maverick match featured pocket 7-10s, a foul, a 2, And Bill emerged victorious. Not all of it was his.
That going there. And guys, with the ball change comes an adjustment, right? He's 8 and 5 left than where he started match number 1. So 8 boards with his feet, 5 with his target.
Take a look at Graham's arsenal.
He's going with purple pearl urethane. Now, Chris, am I mistaken? That ball is not legal for PBA use, but it is for USBC competition.
It is for this one in the U.S. Open. It's in play. Speaking of guys that are in their comfort zone, this guy is really good with this ball.
Well, Graham has picked up a W already this year on tour. We go back to Delaware, where he picked up a win, his second PBA Tour title. His first was in Columbus at the PBA Players Championship out of Urbana, Ohio. So let's go back to the great Mid-County Lanes and Entertainment in Middletown. He was the number 3 seed, took out Jacob Buttriff in an all-lefty final, 277 to 200. Took him on 3,261 days in between PBA titles. And of course, he became the first Canadian to win a PBA Tour event in 2016 when he won that Players Championship.
And Chris, we kind of saw this coming from his from his great play at the League Series.
Yeah, I think the last several years, things have started to line up. He's improved his game, added a few tools to it. He's looked like this type of guy here for a couple of years that can make shows on a regular basis.
Yeah, you see that late kick of the 9 by the ball. Well, in this building in 2024, he was 4th in the PBA World Championship, so he's comfortable here.
Yeah, he has all the tools. He's got a straight arm swing. He's got all that rev rate. And really, we're just talking about power, whether it's one-handed or two-handed. So that's immaterial for him, and he can make it hook as much as anyone on that side of the lane.
And late collapse on the 4-9 for the real deal.
It's always a nice break to trip the 4 and the 9 when you're working on a strike, and O'Neill does just that. You can see him inching closer to that middle arrow. That's a pretty big move from his first match.
Yeah, and there was a whole game in between plus practice. So he got some more shots, which allows you to make that bigger move with a few. But he's left a 9-pin. He's moved the 1 off that. Still high again. He's got to make a pretty decent move. The middle of the lane is really flat over here in the arena.
Damn it.
We agree.
Yeah, I think he really liked this shot, and is surprised it didn't come off of it better. But he got a little behind it.
Yeah, he was looking for it to respond a little bit harder than that. And since it didn't, that's why the flat 10 standing.
Yeah, I don't think he's upset about the fact it didn't carry. He's upset about the fact that it got to that spot when it didn't feel like it was. Felt like he threw it better than that.
Well, Bill's still perfect on 10 pins here at the USBC Masters. We have one more match following this. It'll be Justin Knowles and Dom Barrett. The winner of this match will be the number 3 seed for tomorrow's television show. We see how Graham got here. Only if Bill O'Neill wins. Let me correct that. Only if Bill O'Neill wins. And we see Gary Haynes by 1 pin in an all-lefty match. Into, oh my goodness, off the mark.
The second one on that lane by a left-hander. Now, the interesting thing, yeah, watch this. It gets tapped there and gets stood back up. It probably would have fallen. Interesting, both players have said that the right lane is tighter down lane.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen very often. Most time you say, oh, okay, it's the right-handers think it's tighter.
Yeah.
Left-handers think it hooks more.
It's usually the opposite, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's tight for the right, it hooks for the left, and vice versa.
And he decided something wasn't quite right, so he's just going to reset and go after this 5 pin again.
Most likely it's there's a panel that's ever so slightly crowned, which is just enough. When the lanes are this flat, every minute 10 thousandths makes a difference.
Yeah. And the old pattern magnifies that based on what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're bowling on an easy old pattern, you don't notice it. But when they get tough, it magnifies the topography.
So it's a close match through 4. Only 9 pins separating these two. You saw Graham on TV another time. Back at Woodland in Indianapolis at the U.S. Open.
Seems to like USBC events.
I think bowling likes him these days, Chris. You're right. His game has just skyrocketed. Currently 6th on the points list with 4 top 10s.
He sure looks the part to me. There's a lot of pieces there that look like he can be a star moving forward for quite a while.
Yeah, I think the biggest change that I've seen last couple of years with Graham is his increased rev rate. And I think that's one of the things he's worked the hardest on, is just trying to get that rev rate up.
And to go along with that, I think he's added tools that work well on tour, which is always the hard thing to do. Lots of things work at home that don't work out here so much.
And Bill needed a strike and got it.
And that one shaped up nicely that time for O'Neill. So, Chris, if you were to pick a favorite between the two lanes, based on what you've seen, is it the right lane or the left lane for a right-hander?
It looks like the right lane. These guys are striking on the right lane, ironically. Dom did. Now, Bill on the other side liked the left lane better. So, for Bill, I do believe it's the left lane. That's the right one for him, and he's going to get to finish on it.
Read it.
No mixer there, and that's a bizarre lead, really. You don't see that one very often.
Lazy down the lane the shot before it, Chris,
Yeah.
and then once again, this time just coming in light.
Yeah, and this TV pair has always been tricky. When it wasn't this surface, when it is now, the left lane is pushing through easy from that 15 to 25 foot range. The right lane hooks earlier and then gets a little laser down lane. Right now, his ball's actually going too long. But
Are you surprised at week 10 and then follows it up with that?
I am. I don't think he wanted to move right. Most guys don't. So I think he probably just got a little softer, tried to hit it a little bit more.
That's what it looked like. It looked like he tried to give it more touch, and it just scoots right through the spot.
Yeah.
And we return to action here at the USBC Masters in the famed Thunder Bowl in Allen Park, near Dearborn, near Detroit. Tremendous crowds here always during the week as well. This is a big, big bowling state.
Some interesting discussions between Graham and his ball rep there. What did you hear?
What did I hear?
Yeah.
I heard the same thing you heard. He was talking with Dino Castillo, and I'm not really sure Graham was buying in to the discussion.
He wasn't, but what he did decide on and what he ended up telling Dino is a lot like what he did in Delaware. He had the flat 7 thing going on. He didn't want to get steeper. He just added more rotation, a touch slower, and all of a sudden that split the 8-9.
Yeah, they were talking about, well, maybe getting a little bit more on it, and Graham was like, I'm getting on it.
Well, that was his first strike on that lane. As you see, he has been perfect on the left. The right lane was kind of the undoing for Nate Stubler, a lefty, and that was Fach's first strike. On this lane, that'll be his first non-strike.
And what he discussed there is he wanted to be a little more forward on that left lane, and now the left lane's giving him some of that flat 7 look. It'd be interesting to see if he makes the same move.
2-4 with urethane, that much surface, and you flat 7. What's the move? A little more rotation?
I think he just does the same thing. That's his move. It's kind of been his tweak that's got him over the hump in these spots that are tough, whether it's match play or TV.
Uh-oh. Okay.
No problem,
Looked
guys.
a touch
Come on.
scary at the beginning, just saying.
Sometimes the corners on these TV pairs are a little interesting because no one shoots spares.
Right.
And then so, you know, there's been no shoes there. They just haven't blended out whatever they clean them with.
As you may know, that's Chris Barnes joining Randy and I. Kimberly Pressler lane side, and our incredible FS1 crew here in Helen Park, Michigan.
All even, guys. Chris, aside from obvious reasons, and I've watched Billy Bull since he started on tour, as yourself, what is it about his physical game that you really, really like?
It's so solid and so compact. Everything's efficient. And you can tell, he used to work with his dad a lot. That obviously changed. He went back and worked with a friend of his dad's here last week. You can tell his game's tight again. There's not a loose shots. There's not a loose, gets it in the swing different.
God, hitting me.
Got the kick on the 10, but nothing on the 7.
So, guys, just continuing Chris's story about the family friend, Sam Nicole is watching Bill bowl the World Series of bowling. I asked Bill, I said, how was your World Series? He said it was awful. And then this guy, Sam, calls out of nowhere. He says, Bill, I think I know why you're not bowling well. So Bill goes home. Sam meets him at the bowl. They practice. And Sam just started reiterating what Bill's late father told him. And it all had to do with this push away.
Most of us over the years have the same 2 or 3 things that kind of keep reappearing.
Sure.
And you don't feel it. It just gradually works out of a little bit out of sync. And we're talking about 3 inches of push away.
Yeah.
Tonight it's baseball night. Catch the Mets' newly minted superstar Juan Soto. I believe he homered yesterday as he leads the New York Mets against Jose Altuve and the Astros. Or the Braves take on the Padres. Baseball Night in America returns tonight at 7 Eastern on Fox. Check local listings for the game in your area.
You talk about minor things that feel major, right? And he told me, he said, Randy, literally took me 6 shots. 6 shots, and I was right back in the rhythm.
He's been doing this for a minute, and he's thrown shots at a world-class level that 2 or 3 people in the world can do.
I mean, come on, it's no different for you. You went through the same stuff. I went through the same stuff. I mean, it's always a small thing that you can't figure out. It takes another set of eyes to find it.
That's why coaching's such a big part.
Oh, my goodness, an explosive ringing 7.
It's brutal. That's everything he was trying to execute that they talked about in the break. And that's not a flat 10 for sure.
Welcome to the majors. So, 1, you got to get to the pocket consistently. 2, you got to strike when you get there. And 3, both of those being very difficult to do.
And now is when it gets really tricky because they're not easy enough to go, hey, I'll just move 2 left or a little slower and get it to come off of it. They're hard. So.
Yeah, so guys, I mean, it's like if you're in the pocket, I mean, how big of a move can you make, right? Maybe micromanaging, maybe a slight adjustment with the wrist, with the hand, rotation, whatever, but it's not like you can just jump an arrow or 2 to the middle part of the lane and just open them up.
Yeah, to your point, if it wasn't urethane, you wouldn't even be able to add the more rotation.
Yeah.
With his rev rate, it would hook 3 more. On this, it just hooks a little bit. He gets another 12 to 18 inches more clearance before it rolls off of it.
We head into the foundation, and they're 1 pin apart. And that's a little softer 7 pin there for Graham.
Urethane flat 7.
What have most people been throwing this week, Chris? Urethane or reactive?
Almost no urethane. And if I was to guess, that was some of the purpose of the pattern. In the main bay, it hooked early, then it pushed. Then you hit the hourglass part, it hooked again. Then you got the 2-2s at 30 feet, and it pushed again. And by the time I got through that many speed bumps, urethane couldn't hit. A few left-handers could do it, but not very many. And certainly not at the level that the guys that made the show. The guys that made the show, almost none of them could.
A little Deadwood remain a long way out. Graham punishing that 7 pin.
I didn't even hear it.
O'Neill in the driver's seat as we take a look at our max scores.
Remember, he was in this position in match number 1 and came up a cropper with a 7-10 in the 10th. He still won the match.
Yeah.
Incredibly. So obviously, you know, we can't even count the times he's been in this lockout position, but he's got to execute.
Pocket 7-10, and then Maverick went strike ring 10. Shaping up, guys. Just saying.
He's done a magnificent job of managing what's normally the tougher lane of these two lanes. Now the tricky part is, I mean, look, watch Billy's head. It never moves. One of the great things about his game.
I also like the way his finish, that hand is actually, the fingers are actually pointing to the right, which then keeps that elbow inside.
It is one of his tricks, so to speak.
Yeah.
It kind of clears the front while still having, you know, a pretty high rev rate. Almost like Robert Lawrence, if you were to walk it all the way back.
Oh, goodness, yes. Strike 9 spare, and Bill will be bowling tomorrow as the number 3 seed.
Oh, damn it.
Way inside, guys. Well, if you're going to miss big, right?
He wanted that one to hook earlier, and he started about his 4th step on that one.
Come on, let's stay back. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Shoulder rolled forward.
Make it
This
strike.
is into the
Come on.
lane. He was going to make that one get around the corner.
Got away with it. It's part of the interesting spectacle that's happened today on our show.
And really one of the few bad shots I've seen Billy throw all week.
Strike at 9. Strike 9 spare. It's a shutout grand fall.
Got the strike already.
And he's going to have to shoot the spare. If by some miracle he doesn't make this, and I believe he's made every 10-penny shot this week.
Yep.
It opens the door for Graham to strike out the tie. And we would have a 1-ball roll-off.
It's a little further than 60 feet away, though, right now.
It looks like about, you know.
Oh, no.
Look out. Billy.
Correction, 217 from you.
All right, Graham Fach's going to have to punch out. Now, that's the other thing. He has to execute. Once again, the 10th frame for Bill O'Neill comes a cropper.
That was 10-10 all week.
First
And
10 pennies missed all week.
Yeah, he was something like 38 for 38 or 39 for 39. You see some of the shocked reactions from the spectators here. And all right, Graham.
Big paw on that one.
After the incredible break that Bill got crossing over, and then to miss the 10 pin to give Graham Fach life. Graham Fach just nudges the 7 out on that shot right there. But he needs 2 more just to tie.
Just to tie, and that's the thing for Bill. He has to accept the fact he's gonna have to bowl again. If Graham strikes out, Bill's got to throw that in the garbage and start with a 1-ball match potentially.
Ring 7 last time, flat 7 that time. Was able to get it out. Does he do anything different on the shot, do you think?
And I as tough as the pattern is, I think I would just try to execute as well as I could, not move or change a thing. A little softer, and he pays for it.
Oh my heavens. Bill O'Neill is going to be the number 3 seed tomorrow.
And maybe that was in the back of his mind, that late 7, but that was almost 1 full mile an hour slower than the last shot.
It's almost impossible to not make any adjustment there, even if it's just subconscious.
Thank you, Detroit.
But what a great game he's bowled.
Good job. Good luck on Sunday. Thanks.
Holy smokes. Can the next match, Don Barrett versus Justin Knowles, match that? Let's find out. It's next. He's had 2 dramatic 10th frames One against Bailey Maverick, one against Graham Fach. Now it'll be Dom Barrett v. Justin Knowles for that fourth and final spot to bowl Bill O'Neill tomorrow. And with Randy Peterson and Chris Barnes, Kimberly Pressler, I'm Dave Lamont. And you see Justin Knowles there. And by the way, Justin wanted to point out to me that those are University of Miami colors he's got going on here, my alma mater. So he wanted to notice that. So good on you, Justin. But this is a home game for him. He is a Michigan man from Okemos, I believe. Or maybe Okemos.
Which lane was tougher for the right?
His home center is in Lansing, west of where we are.
He's got a ton of experience in this building. And
Dom's going to start left lane.
As they decipher which lane he's going to start on, but I think he just did he say Dom was going to start the match?
He did.
All right. Give that guy. Is Dom going to play deeper than what we saw with Bill O'Neill, Chris?
No, I think he's playing on top of him, maybe a little bit left of him. Watching a couple of those practice shots, he started right in the same spot Bill was, maybe a couple right, and went high immediately. Had earlier hook. So,
ready? All right. Oh, wait. Good luck. You too.
I think this is the right play too. I think you played your own strength at this point, which, having watched, looks like Justin would want to be on the left lane to finish.
Just roll it.
And not mess around with that right lane anymore.
And once again, one of the last things Dom says to himself, two things I've heard him repeat a lot, guys. Go slow and just roll it. And there you go.
That's one. So as the righties transition to the middle part of the lane, guys, who's got the advantage? Righty, lefty.
From what I've seen so far, I would say right-handers. They're all through reactive. They all threw dual balls. They're all in approximately the same spot from Bailey's first game on. Everybody's kind of been one or two left of the guy before them, and so it should be developed. These guys are all on top of each other. Reactive following urethane is not always that much fun.
And Justin Knowles gets a ringing 7 to start as he's looking for his first national title.
The 7-pin on that lane for the left-handers has been troublesome, to say the least. It's obviously harder to get the ball to go through the pins. We've seen 2 5-pins. We've seen multiple flat 7s, and now we've seen a couple of ring 7s. Seems like an early good choice not to finish on that lane.
All right.
Tough one.
Somebody's a little nervous about shooting his first single pin on TV this time.
6th place finish to start the season in Delaware this year. Also 6th in the Shark Championship of the World Series.
Here's his arsenal. He's going with XL. Look at the hook potential. One of the strongest pieces of equipment in his arsenal. And new to Rotogrip staff this year is Justin Knowles.
And there was some nastiness on that.
You were saying earlier, Randy, he has a little experience in this place.
Yeah, he's won the Detroit Masters and the Michigan Masters, and he'd like to pull a hat trick off and win the USBC Masters here in this building.
That's a pretty cool stat.
And he also has a regional win at Jack 60, where the tour will be soon. Whoa.
Ew.
Yeah, there's no point in being technical about that. Ew is just about the best analysis you can come up with.
I think Dom, Chris, and myself were waiting for this ball to come around the corner. It never did.
It looked good at 40 feet. It got to that last tracer, and it just blew right by it. A little bit what we saw Bill have on the left lane. I did not see any of his shots do that in the right lane.
Got a chance. No, maybe you hit the wall and come back hard enough, but it did not open frame early for Dom Barrett. Take a look at the PBA Elite League standings. To the PBA World Championship, Motive. Gee, I wonder who owns for Motive. It'll come to me. Storm is 2nd, Brunswick 3rd, Global in 4th, and Hammer, Rotogrip, DV8, and Ebonite.
I believe the coolest stat I'd heard that EJ by himself was in 4th before this week. So
hard to believe.
Oh, and that crossed over a little bit, and some early trouble for Dom to find the pocket.
There's just almost no way to have that last shot 2-8-10, and it's the absolute hardest thing to do at any level of bowling is not overcorrect for the one that just happened.
Even with his experience, and it happens to all you guys.
It just does. You have to fight it off. You have to just concentrate on the last really great shot and really throw that last one away. Compartmentalize it, so to speak, but it's super difficult to do.
16 miles an hour is some of the slowest ball speed we've seen all
left
season.
on the right lane. It was fine and it never slowed down. And I thought I had a good chance of catching and slowing down. It didn't. Need to come back like
Well, he was into that shot. You could tell by his reaction that Justin looks very fond of that delivery, and he should be.
Talking with Justin earlier, one of the things he's been working on is trying to create more roll, more up the back to create a heavier ball roll, more end over end.
And there is Justin's wife, the Knowles family, his son right there, trying not to be nervous with the cameras on them.
According to our friend at Specto, that was almost 40 RPMs higher, too. Went through him a little better. First shot might have been just a little bit of nerves.
And that, oh my! Just wreckage on the highway.
That shot's about a half board away from being the same 2-8-10 that, or 2-10 that Dom left on the other lane. Crumbles the bucket, gets a little scout to come over, bang, on the 7-pin.
2.5 miles an hour faster with his ball speed.
Well, wait a minute. No, it dropped off.
pretty good shot that.
But pretty good at the moment. It's just not going to be good enough, and he knows it.
Got that one to pick up.
All right, so explain this to me. He goes light, leaves the 210 in frame 2. Frame 4, it's a mile an hour faster.
It was also 5 boards right.
That's pretty good.
It looks like.
23.
With the lay down,
He rolled it.
he moved to the right
slow.
and kept his eyes the same. So he just squared up on that lane, took that long right miss out of play.
Moved right, increased the ball speed, and tightened it up.
His lay down went from 29.8 to 24.3. So that's 5 boards, 5.5 at lay down. And his eyes were 1 left.
Yeah.
At the arrows. He's got to pick up.
But late.
Sakes.
Well, you see the difference. Knowles just exploding the pocket, and Dom is not getting that same reaction. Part of it, of course, the miles per hour in the rev rate.
Same kind of move on this leg, guys.
Okay.
Basically a zone move right with his feet, but not his eyes. You talked about different options. That's a big risk option right there.
Yeah, he moves right and gets closer to the friction.
Okay. And it could go anywhere in the front at this stage.
Right, and so to get it through the front, you got to throw it faster and take a little hand out of it, no?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
one
I
on
would
this
say he
right
probably
and
got a
left
little more
lane, so he
forward.
had a chance.
Got a little nicer to it at the bottom.
Just got to be sooner and rollier.
So sooner and roller. There you go.
Well, at the moment, though, he's going to need Justin Knowles to take a step back and have a couple bad things happen, and that hasn't happened yet. And again. Again.
Take that, you filthy animal! Oh my God, just head-butting the 7-pin. What a nice break when you're working on a 3-bagger. I think I've seen Barnes do that a time or two.
Barely get it back over to the 5-pin now, let alone the 10.
You mean the left-handed Barnes, right? Not this one.
Yeah, right. Troy. Troy can do it.
I'm amazed you let him in your house.
You talking to Linda?
Two Hall of Famers. We race a two-hander and a left-hander. How much do they listen to us?
That was a little more up the lane. And
Well, Don Barrett's got a little bit of trouble here. A lot of it has to do with what you see with Justin Knowles there, 5-bagger. And some of those strikes have been insane with these messengers. And then he just blew the place up with his last one. So Dom trying to find some remedy, kind of like the Black Crows.
I'm sorry, Remedy, Black Crows, what's going on?
He needs a remedy, and he went straighter that time for his remedy.
I love it.
It's a good tune, man. It's a real good tune.
Same. Roll it.
All right, Chris. Moves right, picks his ball speed up.
Get on him.
You like the move?
I didn't think he had any choice. He had to make a big move, take a big chance. This is close to what he was doing in his first match. This will be the tell. He's got to strike here.
So not only do you have to make the move, you have to make it with conviction, and you have to execute.
Let's take a look at Justin Knowles, just power. Wait. Yeah. Good. The Kembe Mutombo finger wave.
Yeah, not today, Felicia.
I like it. And the hits just keep on coming.
If you're Dom, you're really looking for some help there. First shot of the commercial break. He didn't get any of it. That was pretty much perfect.
Justin had a really nice World Series last season, and still looking for that first win. And we've seen it before at the USBC Masters, Chris, where players have a breakout week and claim this title as their very first.
I think it's one of those things where the top 10 players or the top tier of players think it's the hardest tournament to win. And it is, because everybody's going after them. The middle guys think it's the one they have the best chance at.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Wow.
That's pretty good, baby.
That ball went about 20 feet, and he's already announcing it as a strike.
He's feeling it. That's for sure.
Well, you kind of feel like you look at Justin's career. He's been hovering around. You mentioned the World Series, Randy.
That's pretty good, baby. It's my time. It is my time.
Lives an hour away, guys. He's been commuting back and forth every day. Home game.
And we do want to mention coming up on FS1, the Minnesota Twins and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Chris, I know you're a baseball fan. Which team do you pull for?
Well, I'm a Rangers guy, but I think we're a long shot this year for sure. Of course, a fan of Mookie Betts. That was a shot Dom had to have. He has to strike every shot here to have any break. Good one there.
Well, the move is right. Yeah, and he's again now he's lacing him. But he's going to need a bunch of help, and I don't think he's going to get any. This man here is locked in.
Yeah, already on 250 pace. He basically just needs a mark at this point to lock things up, and he's feeling comfortable.
See you tomorrow, Justin.
You will be taking on Bill O'Neill in the opening match tomorrow at noon on Fox, with the winner running into Anthony Simonson.
needs all of 3 pins on this first shot. So I like his chances.
It's really
call.
one of the
Good
finest
call,
games.
Chris. Hey, this is what you paid the big money for right here.
Wait, paid?
Well, allegedly.
I'll tell you what, it's one of the best games I've seen bowled on TV this year, what Justin Knowles has done today. It's just been splendid.
Exceptionally tough pattern, looked not very hard.
Well, that means nothing at this point. He got what he needed. And our moment of the match brought to you by Pilgrims. Chicken can be boring, but Pilgrims is turning chicken nuggets upside down as Justin Knowles has turned this building upside down. I love it. You love it. Put it in a nugget.
Guys, our high game going into this match was 217. Justin made a very difficult
Storm Nation, baby.
competitive pattern
Storm
look
Nation.
easy.
Great game. You see me first. Well done, mate. Good one. Good luck tomorrow, okay?
And Don Classy, as always, in victory or defeat.
Good job. On to tomorrow. Way to go, brother.
So for Don Barrett, a strong appearance at the USBC Masters, but he will leave still lacking this title on a glittering Hall of Fame resume.
Tomorrow, 2 lefties, 2 righties, shaping up for a great telecast. And Chris, guess what? Chris is going to be joining us again tomorrow.
All right.
It's going to be awesome.
I haven't made it all week.
So,
All right, good morning.
so we have our 4 for tomorrow. Justin Knowles against Bill O'Neill. Anthony Simonson qualified to the number 2 position, and Gary Haynes must be defeated twice to win the championship. Will anybody be able to do it against the guy who's never bowled on TV before? Justin Knowles won't forget this day. Hopefully you all didn't either. Coverage of the 3rd major of the year, the USBC Masters, concludes tomorrow live on Fox at noon Eastern.